2022 GSL Season 2. Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, live. 2022 GSL Season 2.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to day 3 of the GSL CODAS. Artosis is still ill with COVID, so it's going to be State back again. How you doing, State?
Hi, Tasteless. I'm really happy to be here again. Hi, Tasteless. It's me, State. I'm really skinny. I play Protoss.
Good to have you back, Artosis.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
You got the COVID?
Yeah.
I am rolling my chair over the court here.
Yeah.
How was it? How are you feeling?
You know, it was kind of like playing against a B Protoss. I didn't really expect it. It beat me onto my ass. But at the end of the day, I'm better than it, and here I am.
That's right. At the end of the day, you're S rank, and that virus is B rank, and
That's
a low
right.
B rank at that.
You don't expect what it's going to do. It doesn't even know what it's going to do. But here I am, Tasteless. I'm back, ready to go.
All right.
Feel great.
Yeah?
That quarantine period, I am so sick of being quarantined for whether I have it or not.
Yeah, that's been like the side story of being in Korea or trying to just live here and then go in and out of the country is how much we've had to quarantine. Or
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Originally, it was State that first got COVID out of all the people we knew, and he was at my house before. I had to quarantine for like 10 days or something.
I know, yeah.
You were in your house for 7, is that right?
Yeah, 7 for this. And
with your 4 kids in that house,
Woo!
not being able to leave.
Well,
I bet you're just sad it wasn't 8 days. That's what I'm guessing.
Terribly sad. I wish I wasn't here right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, to be honest, though, maybe the highlight of that quarantine was sitting on my couch watching GSL. I was like, damn, this is a mighty fine show. When I don't have anything to do, I'm just sitting on my couch. For Group A, me and my oldest daughter just sat there and watched it and, like, talked about StarCraft and talked about other stuff, too.
Yeah.
And we basically talked about Minecraft and StarCraft the whole time. It was a great day.
Yeah.
Sounds
like a good afternoon for
now,
sure.
Unfortunately, I didn't get paid for that.
Yeah.
So here I am again.
Yeah, you definitely want to be cast with me over your daughter, Artosis. So it's a better
Well, no,
gig.
that's not true, but I get paid to do it with you. So
this is true. This is going to be a fun group here today. We are going to have Dark, Ryung, Armani, and Zoun duking it out. I think, no offense to Armani, but I think he is the least likely to get out. The other 3, I'm kind of torn between Ryung and Zoun. I do think Dark is the guy who advances. I'd be shocked if he didn't move on. But
yeah, that would be bizarre. In fact, it would be so bizarre, Tasteless. I have to spoiler this record that he's going to set tonight.
Mm-hmm.
As long as he doesn't get dead last in his group, and again, I get a lot of these awesome stats from Coach Hanfei, a big GSL fan. But if he does not get dead last in the group, he will have been the first player to achieve 20 consecutive 16th or better place finishes.
That's insane, man.
20! That's double parting award. The parting award, 16, around a 16 10 times in a row?
Right.
He'll literally have 2 of those in a row, so it's like the new...
That's the new thing.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to make history today, I think, unless Dark really does not perform the way we would have expected him to. And look, I mean, we really have an all-star lineup here at GSL, but Dark is one of the heavyweights of that pantheon of great players.
And with Rogue out, he's got to be looking at this as a real possibility of victory number 3, right? Because Rogue is very oftentimes the guy that takes him out.
Yeah. Now, Ryung last season played extremely well. I feel like Ryung was kind of floating in the background for a decent chunk of GSL in the middle of its life, I guess you could call it that. Ryung was, of course, a powerhouse player early on.
Yeah.
But he seems to be extremely active. I know he's been streaming a lot. And honestly, I mean, he played very, very well last season. So I think he's kind of the wild card player here out of everybody. Is can he bring that back again? He had certainly had periods in, multiple seasons where he just sort of was, basically fallen off. He was like a top 32 player, not able to get deep into a GSL. But this is going to be a real test here with Ryung because he's going up against the best of the best here with Dark.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Ryung. But if he plays the same level he played last season, round of 10, even a round of 6 is not outside of the scope of what he can do.
That is true.
Because he did have a great season last season.
Guys, our game has loaded up. This is the map Nautilus 2, Dark versus Ryung. Let's go.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark, Team GP, Ryung.
By the way, Tasus, I forgot to tell you this, so I'm just going to tell you on air.
Okay.
So Group A, when I turned on, you know, the group, and the kids were like finishing up dinner, and my wife was sitting next to me on the couch, and you opened the show and said that I was gone with monkeypox.
Oh yeah.
And my wife actually laughed. She found that really funny. And she normally doesn't think we're funny at all, so great job on that.
That was Artosis recovered from COVID, but then he got monkeypox, so he's still here. I'm glad you like that, Artosis. So, yeah, man. Let's get into this game, dude. I mean, if Ryung can really play extremely well here, I'm going to be impressed. I do think it's a pretty likely 2-0 here from Dark.
2-0?
Yeah.
Not even one victory for
Not
Ryung.
even one victory. Yeah, I went there.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Why do you hate Terran players?
I hate them so much. I'm glad you figured that out from my analysis there. I can't stand them, Artosis.
Yeah, it's a bias that I've been noticing for a long time.
Yeah.
I am thinking about making a Reddit thread about it.
Uh-huh.
I haven't
You
decided
probably
yet.
should.
It'll probably be under one of my many alts.
I feel like there was this period where there were so many people we knew who actually had multiple Reddit accounts, and I'm like, you're insane. Like, this is crazy.
No, that's
I don't even have one. Now, it is Nautilus, so it's a 4-player map. They are in cross spawns, which I feel like is pretty good for Dark. I feel like the further away you are from the Terran, the better it is going to be for you.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what Ryung wants to pull out here, because I think he's smarter than most of the Terran players. I think it has to do with, you know, the type of experience that he has. He's been around forever, like you mentioned before.
Right.
And so it's kind of like, I think a lot of his big brainedness is what's helping him to play well. And honestly, looking at last season, like the most impressive stuff that we saw out of him, I think, probably his series against Cest, where he was super far behind and fought back and won.
Yeah.
And that was truly impressive. Like that was, and I know it's a different matchup, but if you can do that TBP, like, I mean, you can make just about anything happen, right? Like he's at a very good level right now. He had a great Katowice, of course.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he can perform here. But I do definitely think that this is just kind of situationally pretty decent for Dark here. I feel like all Dark has to do is basically keep growing, kind of monitor the Terran, and probably play an overpowering macro game here.
But occasionally, though, you'll see on Nautilus, if the Terran can kind of keep Zerg in the quadrant, if they can keep the creep spread down enough that you can't really get too good of a 5th base, definitely. The 5th base may be a little bit easier than the 6th, but that 5th base itself is pretty difficult here, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. You're right. I mean, it's funny. It can be misleading when you first look at the map that it looks like it's pretty open and kind of paved out. But in fact, yeah, it really is kind of cut into 4 specific boxes. And yeah, getting off of your quadrant, getting off of your box you start in is a little bit hard for Zerg. And Zerg certainly is burdened with having to do that right away. It is also, though, conversely, if the game goes on long enough, I think extremely difficult for the Terran, too, if the game gets long and Zerg does get like another quadrant on Nautilus.
Well, I think the amount of pressure you would have to keep Zerg under to be able to maintain a 5th base here is Terran, because you simply can't defend your 4 and then also a 5th.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you can put a planetary there and some turrets, but
they'll blow it up with banelings.
Yeah,
and then
it's
you'll
like,
lose the
it
game.
almost doesn't even make sense to make a planetary, you know? It's like a very slim amount of things that it defends against. But yeah, it's that can be tough, and I think you do have to apply like such an absurd amount of pressure to make that work. But we'll see if Ryung is capable of that, right? Like he's going Banshee Hellion here. He's getting Stim, so it's not going to be one of these old school Ryung mass Banshee type plays.
Now, for the time being, we've got the Baneling's Nest coming down here. Everything looks pretty ordinary here for the Terran. I mean, you mentioned the Banshee's Artosis. That's probably the only little flare inside the build. But right now, Ryung's basically just trying to make sure that the creep can't spread that much.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's really going to be the deciding factor as to whether or not this push is going to work. He does get an Overlord, which is pretty good.
Yeah, no real damage one way or the other so far. You know, just the lightest pressure from Ryung, but the Queen standing in the front, not even caring, pushing their creep. Some rocks being taken down. Dark trying to open up these other paths. think that is those rocks he's taking out. I'll bet you just about anything he wants to take his 5th down there. Oh, I like that cloak and then fly through the slow zone. That's good.
Yeah, that's that's the move right there.
That's the moment I knew that's the moment I knew Ryung would finally win a GSL.
These shots are a bit staggered here from the Banshee, hitting the extractor over the drones. I think he did kill one.
Well, don't forget he's still under time distortion after going through that slow zone, man. So, not his fault.
Yeah, that's true. So we've got the Hellions coming up now. And this is important, and I think this is one of the main reasons why we had the Banshee sent out here is because the Queens have to go back. He can actually come in here and clear this out a little bit. That being said, Dark is doing a pretty effective job, of being pretty aggressive and assertive about moving the creep out.
There's a Hydralisk Den on the way here. And Ryung is already making siege tanks. You know, Lingbane Hydra, obviously, this is defensively a ridiculously strong composition. Like, Ryung should not be able to really kill Dark. Not anytime soon, at least. Like, generally, again, to at least 2 factory siege tanks there. But it's hard for Dark to really counter, right? Like, you can do some Lingbane, as always. Like, any strat can kind of do a little bit of Lingbane harassment.
Yeah.
But he's definitely taken quite a defensive stance at the moment.
Okay, so here comes that drop now, and this is really just targeted for the creep that's going to be down here. He needs to look for an opening. We're not at the point where Terran's really going to push yet, but you know, you're trying to find a desirable target to try to hit when you come in here. So he clears out the creep down there. This is going to burden the Queens with coming back down once more, and you know, having to re-creep that whole area. But Terran's still continuing to power up on the 3 bases that he has, and I believe there's a 4th command center being made. And I think, you know, as we've talked about earlier, what we alluded to when the game started is that on this map specifically, it just seems like Terran gets 4 bases, and then it's like, now we're going to try to end the game.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to try to match them like so many other maps where Terran just kind of tries to continue to hold their own against the Zerg and either kill one of the Zerg's last bases or the Zerg sometimes even mines out before the Terran. This map is quite different.
Yeah. And, I mean, most Terrans, though, I think, you know, will go up to about 4 bases and then just play the heavy macro, heavy pressure play. You know, like we've only really seen Maru be super successful with, you know, going up to 7 bases and doing everything at once. I don't know if Ryung is at that level. He's like very, very good right now, but I would be impressed if he could pull something like that. I find this interesting. I don't like the fact that he is sieged up in the center on the watchtower. Like, this will prevent creep from moving forward, and it kind of applies pressure, right? You're kind of on the edge of creep, but I don't think it's actually doing anything. And you're in such kind of a wide open central area. It's like a speed up zone, so like I don't know about that. Okay, he moves out of it, but that's kind of like a funny looking thing, right? Because as Dark maxes out in Lingbane, fairly certain he could crush that if you sit there too long.
Yeah. Okay, well, he's going to be driven back a little bit here. Yeah, I'm worried the creep spread is just, it's so far out. I don't feel like you can actually push into this. I think that Ryung had a lot of ideas that were actually pretty good, but this creep spread is pretty intimidating. Maybe if he gets some tanks up on this ledge to the left, it might be doable, but...
Well, this is the weakest area for creep, right? Like,
sure looks like it,
It makes sense that this would be where he tries to push. Is he going to be able to get the hatch? Maybe. Okay, here comes the Lingbane through that quick zone. Oh my god. Imagine if there was creep in there, Tasteless. Everything blinks then. Banelings with blink, think about that for a moment.
Yeah. Banelings with blink would be the most busted thing ever. The only way to make them better is to be that when they blow up, they don't die. I don't know, man. It does seem like Dark has kind of, not been stopped just yet. We need to get some tanks a little bit closer to this. Now, this can't be the optimal way to come in, but it might work anyways.
There's just not that much here for Ryung. Like, he's got a good spread as far as siege tanks go, but that is a lot of Lingbane Hydra there.
Yeah.
Now, he does have another group of Marines coming down. There's no Banes right this second. Like, okay, well, there's 4 Banes left that are all damaged. I almost feel like if you're going to push. If you give him any extra time, his army's going to be so much bigger, and it's going to be there quicker than your army. So I feel like Ryung, like whether or not that was a good move, that push that he attempted there, he's not. I don't think he's going to be able to bust it now, right?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he really hasn't done anything. And, you know, he's going to try to come through here with more of these Banes. There's just so many Lings and Banes here. He can't even be on the ground. It looks like he might actually lose one medevac. He does.
Well, Ultralisk Cavern's on the way. 3-3s on the way on both sides. Liberator's coming up. Ryung does have his 4 bases up, so like that's nice, and he is getting into Marauders. Okay, cool. But he's lost his map control. Dark is on 5 base. Not a big fan of this position for Terran.
Yeah, I mean, this is our Casso don't always, you know, become prescient, but this one certainly seems like it has. Like Zerg has grown off of that 4th base, and now, you know, it's going to be hard for Terran to grow out. Terran, I think out of all the races, have the hardest time, like, taking over the entire map. They've always been like that all the way to, like, you know, StarCraft 1 before Brood War. They've just sort of, it's been like a feature of the race. And so I feel like now it's going to be troublesome for the, oh my God! It's going to be troublesome for the Terran to try to take a base like this one down here at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, well, he's being reasonably efficient there.
Yeah, well, I just don't see any Banes in these fights. Oh, there's one there. Yeah, can't get his turn.
Oh, God. Is he going to lose this?
Yeah.
You should be able to abduct buildings. That's what I think, Tasteless.
The building should be able to fly up again to a higher level. Where they can't shoot that hard.
I wonder, wouldn't that be interesting, right? Like, if you could lift off your command center and send it into the next game. Like
that's right.
You're gonna lose this one, so you send stuff into the future. It's kind of like Terminator or something, you know?
I'm like that. We get that thing over there. It's like that command center is John Connor's dad or whatever. No, honestly, like I don't know, man. I think Ryung is kind of running up against a problem with the map and the matchup at the same time.
Yeah, it's certainly tough.
Now, the only thing that really is going well for Ryung, sort of well, I should say, is that the entire map isn't covered in creep. But I think that's going to come soon, because he's lost control of the middle of the map here.
Yeah, there's hatcheries kind of going down everywhere, and like if you're not maintaining some sort of pressure, some sort of map control, how are you going to fight against this Zerg? Like, look at how far behind creep most everything is. Even if he kills this base there, which doesn't really have creep around it yet, does that matter? Does that put him in a winning position? Even if literally we watched and he sent his own units, like Dark did, to kill that hatchery, I would still tell you he's well ahead.
Yeah, I would agree. The creep is almost to the point of passing over the speed area in the middle of the map. Terran is going to try to reclaim 6 o'clock once more. But Zerg is actually Zerg is maxed out, excuse me. So he's going to make 16 more Banelings, maybe even a little bit more than that. And probably pull the trigger and try to go for a fight like we're seeing right now.
Yeah, he's going to go through that slow zone there. Some EMPs. That was a beautiful EMP going down. And, well, that's he's actually kind of running into the smallest choke possible. So loses a little bit here. Some of the Banes do connect. Ultras going after this additional base.
I think he could save this in time, though.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty egregious overextension there from Dark.
Yeah, that definitely was not as high-quality attack. But he's staying on the Ling Bane with Ultra. He has more hatches that are finishing up here. 84 workers. I guess the one thing we can say for Ryung is he hasn't really lost workers, right? Like he's lost a total of 19, but that's not that big a deal. He has 74 workers, right? So his economy is still pretty solid. But where is that 5th base going to be? How is he going to attack?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, this game could just fizzle out, man. It could just be the Terran eventually runs out of minerals. The Zerg should have more than enough to economically just leverage this to just dump Lings and Banes down there. What's so funny?
You said it could fizzle out, and I was just looking at it. I'm like, you're right. Ryung's Terran right now is a flat Sprite. Yes. Like, this is, no one wants to drink this Terran position, Tasteless.
Yes, you don't want to have soda without carbonation, man.
No.
And this could just be, this game could be like, does your wife do this where like a soda's not finished, so they put the can that's half drank in the fridge?
No, I dump them.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have a chance
my
to do
girlfriend's
it.
been doing this, and it's like, it's making me mad, where I'm like, I will never drink a soda that's not, like, throw it out.
Not bubbly.
Be wasteful, yeah. It's gone, it's over.
You know that in China they have Red Bulls that have no carbonation? It's like drinking fruit punch.
Is a
man.
Red
It's
Bull
great.
carbonated?
Yeah.
Is it? I don't feel like Red Bull's carbonated.
Okay, Tasteless. Well, it is.
Is it? I feel like it's not carbonated.
Oh my God! Yes, it is Tasteless.
This is where you guys find out I'm not a gamer. It's like, you don't even know everything about energy drinks. How can you be a gamer, Tasteless? Like,
how do you even game without energy, Tasteless?
Yeah.
No one can game without energy.
I'm looking this up on my phone.
Look at that. It's a Grand Canyon, man. A whole set of mules running away from the Ultras. Oh.
Damn, it is carbonated. There you go. Wow. Well, this is just like an uncarbonated, uncaffeinated Red Bull. How about that?
Yeah.
GG. Best cast ever.
Well, that was, you know, when he was trying to push down that 5th base, and he had his tanks spread so much that, like, I mean, they were everywhere.
Well, they were
right?
so spread out that they couldn't even cover each other.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
It's like not even Nightcrawler could have saved all those siege tanks.
Yeah,
man.
it was.
And
it was
he can teleport, Tasteless.
That's true. He can go through walls.
But yeah, after that failed and Ryung did not continue to push, like I think at that point he's against like 3-4 Banes. He actually had a good amount of bio. Maybe he can push, but the second he chooses not to, I think the game is almost sealed right there against a player of Dark Excalibur.
Hardwire is going to be map number 2 here. I think that Ryung's going to have a better shot of taking on Dark here. I think the spawns in that map in general just not very good for Terran against a Zerg. But let's see if he can come up with something different this time around.
Yeah, going to be a better map for him for sure. His map choice. Let's see.
And if he can
Let's
win
see.
there, we go to Berlingrad for map number 3. And it looks like our game has now loaded up. Guys, Dark versus Ryung, game 2 starts now.
Came for war.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Dark. Team GP. Ryung.
Are you glad you're back, Artosis?
Very. Oh my God.
Did you stream for extra time or anything like that, or?
No, I just did my normal stream last week and today. But
Did you
no,
watch any good movies or
I tell
TV
you, as soon as
shows?
my quarantine was done, Tasteless, I'm like, I am taking a walk.
Oh, I bet.
I was out of there, Tasteless. But no, it's good to get back to work and see human beings and have everyone look at me worriedly and ask me if I'm okay.
Yeah, that was me. I texted you this morning. I'm like, are you sure you don't have COVID? It's going to be a real pain in the ass if I get COVID, Artosis.
Yeah. Well,
So I don't know if there's going to be anything super special about Ryung's build just yet. Again, this map, it's more realistic that you can actually try to push a Zerg and control him
yeah,
pretty well.
that is for sure. Hoping that he can get something done here. I'm still a little bit confused about that push. Like, the spread that he had and everything. I don't know. I mean, you're playing against a Max Zerg, Lingbane Hydra, and it did not feel like a well-executed, well-placed push.
Yeah, man. Thing is, you know, on that map, it just seems like all Zerg has to do is just let the game draw out. You know what I mean? And you're going to get that overpowering economy and kind of come in there and punish.
Yeah, it's tough to go up against, but you know, if you can keep that pressure on, you know, get some quality trades for a bit, you can make it work out. You just see, it didn't feel like he ever made any real headway literally at any moment. It's like when the highlight of your game is killing 2 drones and then some creep tumors. It's like, ooh, it's not going to be enough.
Yeah. Okay, it should be a pretty straightforward group here for Dark. Although Zoun I do have some questions about. I mean, he does occasionally just have these blowout performances.
That's true. That's true.
I'm going to keep an eye on that as well here.
Now, when he plays his best, it's pretty damn good. Now, Ryung is going for a very fast 3rd CC before his starport here. So, good high economy build, not reliant upon early damage. And we'll see if he goes Banshee here once again. It didn't feel like the Banshees were that impactful, but I mean, you got to make something, right? You got to
try to interfere with him somehow, right?
Yeah, you can't just let a Zerg sit. That doesn't work. Oh, Viking on the way. Okay, push back some Overlords. I like it.
Yeah, do something to clear that out. Force him to remake, get rid of some vision on the map here. And so it didn't look like, I mean, we have another pair of Hellions being made here. We're going to see how long he actually commits on this. It does seem like if they make Hellions in pairs for a while, a lot of this comes down to like how much value they're going to get from those Hellions.
Yeah.
We've had a couple games where like they'll be roaming around and killing creep, and then suddenly a bunch of speedlings come out and just surround him and kill him.
Yeah.
And then it seems like the Zerg can really run away with the game.
Yeah, I don't like a lot of the time when people try to die with the Hellions as well. You know, a lot of times you'll have like 6 Hellions, and they'll be like, now's my moment, and then they run in, and it just, you get like 2 drones, and that's it. And it's like, okay, that was your map control, that was your how you kept creep down. We'll see what he does here. I mean, he's been very consistent on the Hellion production. He's got to have like 8, right?
Yeah, I mean, he should have at least 6, probably 8. Is he going to just do
about
another
to
round?
Pop out 2 more, so.
Sometimes he's going to be kind of merged in with the actual push as well, where you can basically clean out Banes before they can get close to the Marines.
Yeah, sometimes you see him turn into Hellbats for that tanking ability as well.
Is he going to get the... Oh, no transfuse there.
Oh, yeah, look at that. 3rd CC going to land.
And again, I think expect a stronger performance here from Ryung. I think this map is much more doable here.
Yeah. You want that kind of smaller map. There's a Liberator going across the map right now.
Is he going to bounce it back? Oh, kind of misplaced the mine there.
Okay. 1 drone. Almost gets an egg, not quite. Has to pull back.
Oh, this is big.
Okay. Now that's nice. That I like. That I like. He didn't really lose anything, some health and everything. Drew his attention one way and ran and got a few drones. Not bad.
All right, comes in again. Yeah, this is some legitimate, decent damage here. Going to kill a queen. Almost gets a 3rd, or 2nd, excuse me.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Didn't do too well with that. It's like, yeah, you get the higher energy queen, I guess, but harassment not so much. 1-1 on the way for both sides. Not that far behind for Dark, so that's kind of nice. Baneling speed coming. Clearing a little bit of creep here.
Yeah, just going to power up here. Baneling speed is on the way now. And we're getting closer and closer to the point where the Terran is going to need to try to push out here. I don't think we're going to have a 4th CC taken before that. I could be wrong. But yeah, we're going to see that push coming.
Yep. Infestation pit coming up.
Zerg's going up to 5 bases now. Now, on this map, you could have taken the bottom right base. It's actually where the Hellions are going through right now. That's another location to take. But the Terran wants to try to push out the creep anyways down here because you can send tanks down and get behind this base and basically shell it from below.
Yeah.
And so we're probably going to be having that coming up here. Now there's medevacs. We have a pair of them. They're going to be coming out here trying to draw some more attention. Maybe targeted towards the main. Oh, actually, they're going to drop out over here and try to clean up creep on that side of the map instead.
Yeah, they could even stim towards that, like, 4th base location.
Sure.
It's a possibility. It doesn't look like there's really many drones there at the moment.
Yeah. A lot of Banes, though. You can't interact with that.
No. Well, the second factory is coming up. Hydralis Den does get started around the same time as the Hive, so looks like he's going to be going towards Lurker. We already saw Macro Hatch, by the way, go up in the main, so it is really a Ling Bane-based defense.
Yeah. So right now, Dark is basically continuing to push out creep on all sides, doing an excellent job at that. But, you know, honestly, yeah, it's not exactly like Ryung's made much of a scratch here. Now, this might be the moment here, as he caused an imbalance here in the defenses. The Widow Mines are going to be burrowed. We've got the Hellbats set up here to soak. He could try to wedge this infantry behind this. Seem to be more concerned about the Banes coming than they didn't move up.
This is good so far from Ryung. Let's see, some Banes come up now to help. The Hellbat's actually doing a great job of tanking. He does get a few mine connects.
All right, he swoops away with 2 of the medevacs full of units. We don't see reinforcements coming down just yet.
I don't think that was terrible by Ryung or anything like that. Like I think it was okay.
I don't think it was terrible. I don't know if it was that great either, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't really get much done with it.
That was not a hoorah moment.
No. So here come those Marines now.
Drilling Claws on the way. More Raxes, more mines. Ryung does have his 4th base up, so I really do like that. His 2-2, reasonably quick. Yeah, with the Hydras out now, you can't really do moves like this as easily anymore.
Yeah, well, that's when the medevacs could start to get punished here. And, you know, it's funny, you know, Dark, obviously a guy who's basically planning to go all the way to a GSL Finals here, doesn't want to show anything too interesting in either of these games. He's playing a very textbook conservative macro game. I think because he knows there's probably Terrans that are harder to face off against than Ryung here. And so far, we're just kind of seeing Ryung struggle to make any progress on the map.
Yeah, if you have like a super special build, you're probably saving it for Maru specifically. And Dark just holding pretty much everywhere. Oh, man. Like, I'm trying to figure out where Ryung goes from here. He still has a solid economy. He hasn't taken damage himself. His army's been reduced a few times. He's going for a style that we don't see against Ling Bane Hydra very often, which is Marine Mine Marauder. Like, we've really only seen Maru do that much. The thing is, this is not that common anymore anyways, although I feel like it's been coming back to Ling Bane Hydra. But when you're going for, like, pure bio and mines, you got to, like, really be on top of it and really be fast.
Yeah. Okay, so these Lings and Banes are going to tear down the rocks over here. And I think we're going to see this game actually a lot like Game 1, kind of transition back into the same situation as Game 1. Where it's like the Terran, you know, did their damnedest to try to make progress here on the map. And they failed, and now Zerg has the ability to seesaw the action back over to the Terran side.
Yeah, and he doesn't really have a great defense. This composition he's going for is very offensive.
Yeah.
So, like, he's pulling back, but there's just so much.
Oh, my God.
Very one-sided series.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah,
Not an easy cast
like
either, to be honest, guys. It was
like a mismatch.
Tough to watch here. GG Dark takes that 2-0. And I don't know what to say, man. Dark, bigger, better, faster, stronger. Nothing fancy in his play, just a solid performance, a reactive Zerg oriented towards growth.
Yeah.
And a Terran who could do nothing to stop him in that process.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, definitely a problem for Ryung. We've seen much better play from him in the other 2 matchups. Not that his TBZ looks terrible, but you got to be, like, really on that next level to take out Dark, right? Look at him just smile.
He's like, haha. Remember when he tried to kill my creep tumors? My creep tumors? Guys, not much else to say. We're going to throw it to a quick break. When we come back, ZVP Armani versus Zoun coming up next. Stick around.